Hello everybody, this is Gus Fixit and today I'm going to be showing you how to safely and properly remove a tire off your vehicle. I'll be giving you some tips and checks to make your job easier, and I will show you all the tools I use. In your car should be something you should never avoid when working on your car. If you don't lift your car, then you're gonna hate working on your car. Today I'm working on an SUV, but it's pretty much gonna be the same for a sedan, a car, a truck. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put some pieces of wood or bricks on your tires so the car doesn't roll over when you're changing the front tire. Make sure it's secure. Put your emergency brake. You guys want to make sure that it's all the way down. Also, you gotta make sure it's on park, and if it's a manual, make sure it's on first gear. So right after you do that, we have to loosen out the lug nuts with the tire on the ground. Some vehicles will come with the cover here. All you have to do is pry it open and you remove the cover. Some vehicles come with 5 lug nuts, some come with 4. Now, to get the lug nuts of this vehicle, you can use a tie iron. This one comes with a few sizes. As you guys can see, this one is 19 millimeter, 21 millimeter, this one is 17, and this one is 22. As you guys can see, this has most of the measurements that you will need. For my vehicle, most Fords have a 19 millimeter lug nut, so we're gonna grab our 19 millimeter lug nut and socket, and then you guys will place your tire iron right there, and you will, with one hand, you will do some leverage. You will spin counterclockwise in order to remove the lug nut. You will grab one hand on each side, and then you will spin counterclockwise until it's loose. You will loosen it up, every one of them, but you guys will not remove it just yet. Sometimes if the car gets taken into a shop and they do some work, they might have tightened the bolts too much, and then it gets really hard to take away the bolts with this bar. So in order to get more leverage, you guys will use a breaker bar. This is the one I use if the bolts are too hard to turn. You guys will use the socket, and this will give you a lot of leverage to work with. The reason why we're only gonna get them loosened up is because if you guys are on an uneven surface and you guys remove all the lug nuts, this tire may fall off and the whole vehicle may fall off. That will damage your car, all the components, and you can get very hurt. To lift the vehicle, you guys usually will have your tire jack on a compartment in your car. I usually prefer using a pump jack. Pump jack, it usually takes a couple pumps and then you'll be able to lift the car very easily. I can use the one that comes from the car, but if I have this available, this will be much safer than using the car's jack. This one, you also want a couple of jack stands. These ones, you want to make sure they're rated. This one's rated for 3 ton. You want to make sure you get the ones that come with this pin. On mine, this one does not have it, but usually you guys will see the ones with the safety pin right there. As you guys can see, I just found the other one. This one does have the safety pin. You guys want to make sure that you secure this as much as you can when working with the lifted car. This one, you have different settings. You can use this one if you need more height, you can remove this pin and make this higher, or you can use this one which is shorter. You can use it on the front and then work on the vehicle. We're gonna place it on the frame. You guys want to make sure it's on a solid surface, strong solid surface. You guys don't want to put it on the plastic side because it's gonna break. And also you guys want to make sure that you don't place your jack. If you plan to lift it from the front of the vehicle, make sure to keep an eye on the oil pan. You guys don't want to put it on the oil pan because these are not that strong, and if you guys start lifting it up from here, this will make a hole on the oil pan, and then you guys will lose all your oil and burn your engine. Same with the frame. There's some parts of the frames that are weaker than other parts, so you guys want to avoid these thin areas and make sure you guys are on the main frame of the car. So for those of you guys that don't know how to use this, you guys will twist this handle clockwise to close the valve, and then you'll be able to lift the jack. It usually takes a couple pumps and then it'll go up very fast. Also, if you guys want to lower it, you guys will spin this counterclockwise and your pump jack will lower. See? Another tip that I want to show you guys, if you guys don't want to damage your driveway, sometimes these ones, they have this plate underneath which is flat, so this will actually not damage my driveway. But usually the jack stands, they don't come with this plate, and it's just a flat surface like this, and they will sink into your pavement or your driveway, so it can easily get damaged. So in order to avoid that, you guys want to grab a piece of plywood and just put it right underneath this jack stand, so that way the weight of the vehicle will not damage your driveway. Okay guys, so now we're gonna lift up the car. It will take a few pumps depending on how high the car is. Okay guys, so once the tire is up on the air, we're gonna grab the jack stand and we'll find a spot where we can put the plywood and the jack stand. So in my case, I will be doing this. And again guys, make sure you know where to put these jack stands and your jack. You have to make sure that the surface where you're putting the car on, the weight of the car on, it's strong, like this frame. You guys want to avoid all the oil pans, you want to avoid where the arms go, and you definitely want to avoid this, like your catalytic converter, because that will definitely cause catastrophic damage on your vehicle. Okay guys, so remember the lugs are loose, so now what you want to do is grab your lug wrench. We're gonna choose the right size, which on my case is 19. You're gonna put your lug wrench in, and then you guys will twist it counterclockwise. So usually you'll be able to spin the nuts freely until they come off. So we'll do this for each one of them. Sometimes they're a little bit harder, but you guys should be able to get most of them out with this technique. So now with the lugs out of the tire, you guys will use both hands and you will pull this out this way. Alright guys, and next thing you want to do, we're going to add another safety feature so you guys can work on the brake, suspension, or whatever it is. You guys will put this tire under the car. So in case the car were to fall down, it would fall on top of the tire and it wouldn't crush your foot or your leg. So now guys, with all three safety features, you can work on whatever you need on your car without worrying to having it fall on your foot or leg or body. Now guys, before I put the tire back on, we're gonna use this peg right here, this stud, and we're gonna line it up to the top. Okay, so if you guys cannot do that, you might have to put it back on. If the car is on gear, you might have to put it in neutral so that you guys can put this into place. That way it's gonna make it a lot easier to line up the wheel so that you guys can have a better time putting the wheel back on. Let me show you how. So now guys, to put the tire back on, not every wheel is gonna be as light as a car wheel. Sometimes you're gonna have a truck or an SUV. In my case, I have an SUV, so the wheel is gonna be a little bit heavier. So in that case, you guys will grab your wheel and then what you guys want to do is help with your foot right underneath, like this. So you guys can, let me see if you guys can see here. Okay, so what you guys want to do is, in order to make it easier on you, if the wheel is too heavy, you can put the wheel like this, and with both foot you can help it. You can help the tire line up with the stud on the top. Let me like this. Let me see. See? Okay, so now we're in. You guys are gonna help it with your hand, and then you're gonna line up the bottom studs. There we go. So now that the tire is in, you will push it in with your foot, and with the stud exposed, we're gonna grab the one on the top, grab your lug nut, and you're gonna screw the lug nut in. Make sure guys that you can put this lug nut and it spins freely. If it doesn't spin freely, then that means it's cross thread and you guys have to make sure you redo this. You put it in the right way so it doesn't end up cross-threaded. If it ends up cross-threaded, you guys might have to remove the whole wheel hub, and that would be another expensive job. With the top lug nut in, you guys can push on the bottom and install your lower lug nuts all the way in. That one was cross-threaded, so now it's spinning freely. You guys will do this for every single one of them. Okay. Now guys, with the wheel already installed, you will grab your crossbar and you will make them just a little bit more tight. We got one. Don't give it too much pressure. We will do that later at the end when the car is at the bottom with the weight on top. You guys will go over each one of them and give it a little bit more torque slowly. You guys want to make sure everything is secure in place so this wheel doesn't come off when you're driving. That could be very dangerous and it could result into a car crash. Next thing we're gonna do, we'll remove the jack stand out of the car. And then we're gonna twist the jack, that way it will lower the vehicle. You will get this out of the way, and then with the crossbar you guys will give it more torque. Okay, so you want to make sure each lug nut gets a decent amount of torque. Make sure you guys go through each one of them all around at least 3 times. That way each lug nut goes in evenly and all the force is distributed between all of them. Alright guys. Also, if you guys want to do it the proper way, you guys want to grab a torque wrench. So this one, for example, only goes till 80 foot-pounds, but most tires, most wheels will take 100 foot-pounds. If it's a truck, it's going to be around 120 foot-pounds. So you guys will follow the same process. You start from the top one and then you go counterclockwise until all of them get the same torque spec. You guys will need to do your research on this and find what the torque spec for your car is. I know guys that most of the time you guys will not have one of these torque wrench, so you guys will have to make sure each one of them has enough torque. And usually if you guys put your weight on top and you guys cannot turn this anymore, that's gonna be about the torque spec for your wheel lug, for your lug nut. And that's how you take the tire off and put the tire back on pretty much any vehicle. Hopefully this was very helpful for you, and if you guys don't mind considering hitting the subscribe button, you guys can do so, and make sure to give me a like so this video can reach other people like you. I appreciate you guys, and see you on the next video.